Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And welcome to the RTA Season 24 Legend Tournament. My name is Evan, and with me tonight, it's Stoic. What's going on, Stoic?
Doing good, Evan. We have another legendary tournament we get to cast together at this incredible hour. I'm happy to be here and super excited.
Incredible hour indeed. 3 in the morning for this poor boy. For everybody else, it's a lovely time to be a Summoners War fan and player. These things come around quarterly, and if you're unfamiliar with how the Legend tournaments go, here's what we do. At the end of a ranked season, we take the top 4 players and we make them fight in gladiatorial combat to find out who is number 1 and who also gets their name in the Hall of Fame. And tonight we got quite the lineup, if it is the same as it was mere minutes ago. Looks like we had Pinkroid in first place, and True Whale was falling close behind Stoic, who's ready to defend the title.
Yep, that's right. People do not know True Whale was actually the winner of last season's 23 Legendary Tournament, and I think he's looking to capture potentially another one under his belt here.
Yeah, and there's a lot of titles up for grabs. I mean, Diligent was also at number 4 towards the end there, and he's looking for the three-peat as well. Here's the tournament overview for us. So we got the top 4 players. We're going to be playing in that SWC mode for a best of 3, best of 5 in the finals. Now, that SWC mode does include the pre-ban. So you can pre-ban a unit you don't want to see, but you can't pre-ban it sequentially. And here is what our players stand to win tonight. That Ironheart Chimera skin, Stoic, that thing is so cool looking.
They really are. Comtos has done a very good job at nailing some of the mech transmogs in here, and this Chimera skin is honestly pretty solid. I really, really am a big fan. It kind of reminds me back to the day with the Valkyries, which Valkyries, their mech transmog actually remains my favorite transmog in the game.
Oh yeah. Oh, that one is awesome. Like the OG kind of Battle Angel inspired skin. I really like those skins. Back in my day, all we had was the Mecha Inugamis and the Mecha Phoenixes. Now these Mecha Chimeras, these kids with their Mecha Chimeras, they don't know what it was like down in the trenches. They got some nice looking mech skins.
Yep, they really do. Can't even forget about that incredible Frankenstein Elvis skin. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Really
yeah.
back in the day.
truly peak transmogs. Truly peak. Well, what we're about to go into here shortly, chat, is some peak RTA gameplay. Some of you may have joined us for the Americas Summit last weekend and the weekend prior when we did the Latin America tournament. That's been a really fun one to cast together, and we're going to be having the finals on April 21st. So if this isn't enough to get you hooked, then there's more to come. So, Stoic, we mentioned earlier that True Whale's here to defend the title. So that lends itself to some pretty interesting games tonight, some interesting matchups. We also had Pinkroid in first and Diligent conveniently placed at fourth. What do you think about that Pinkroid-Diligent matchup?
I mean, that's a tough matchup. That's one neither one of these players want to go up. I mean, all four of these players don't want to go up against each other, to be honest with you. I feel like even on the ladder, they're avoiding the four of them like the plague. Diligent versus Pinkroid, it's a very, very tough match. I haven't been able to watch any of Pinkroid's games myself, but we all know Diligent is such a dangerous opponent. The Iron Fortress that he's always known to be. He's just riddled with so many LD Nat 5s and different strategies. Who knows what Diligent might bring to the table tonight?
Yes, and also to a certain extent, who knows how those final matchups look, because we're operating on data that we saw like 5 minutes ago. The bracket is being composed as we speak. That's the fun thing about the Legend Tournament, is that it picks up right when the season ends. It's the very last thing that happens. It's like the kiss goodbye to the number behind that RTA season. And now we're also get to look forward to a special league shortly after too. So stand by with us while we make the bracket ahead of time. Now, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Pinkroid brings to the table, because like we mentioned, his games can kind of be a little bit elusive. So word on the street is maybe there's some Antares, who knows? Like Antares is one of those ones that you can't exactly force in a game, but maybe he's gonna prove us wrong, Stoic.
Well, it's funny that you say force. I feel like a lot of his wings this season, I heard this from many people here, his first pick was actually in Antares, and then he just let their opponent, show the rest of the cards after that. So, dare I say force? If it was his first pick, maybe it was force, but I mean, able to keep rank 1. The guy's finishing number 1 at the moment, so it works for him.
Which is crazy. And also, speaking of which, back when we were looking at the lineup right before the stream, this is like the tightest 1 and 2 slot ever. Usually when we see these things, like one is like 100 points ahead of the other, they can kind of rest a little bit easy knowing that they've got their slot locked down. But this one was like just a couple, maybe tens of points away from each other. So all these guys were truly fighting for those top 4 up until the very end. It'll be really cool to see. Now, True Whale, we actually just saw at the Americas Summit pretty recently, right, Stoic?
Yep, that is right. We did see True Whale. We've seen a little bit what he's drafting right now. I don't believe any of the players out here have a mix, so I think True Whale can definitely not have to worry about that going into here like he had to worry about it with Faras before. So we'll see, because I will admit, I am used to seeing, or we are very used to seeing, a very aggressive True Whale, and that's not what we got to see in the Summit. So who knows? Maybe he changed his pace. Maybe he's playing a little bit different. But I'm expecting to see something a little different when he knows the 4 players he's going to be going up against tonight.
Right, so you mentioned something that we could probably expect not to see in the Knicks, which I agree with you on that. And RTA Season 24 has kind of had an interesting meta. Some have argued not a meta, but there's definitely been a couple key units that have stood out amongst the others. So what do you expect to see picked kind of commonly, maybe people fight over in those opening few picks, Stoic?
Honestly, I know it did not have a great showing in the Summit, but I still feel like that Water Holly Berry is going to get picked here. It just seems like a great unit to swap over to when you think you're going up against an opponent who's maybe multi-hitting or bringing a lot of high damage that you can offset by just parrying it and not receiving any damage at all. So I do want to say we'll probably see a Water Holly Berry, not a Water Holly Berry first pick. I just don't see that happening here with these top 4, but that's definitely something that I think will come to the table. And no matter what that first pick with the Oliver lockdown, I do think that 33 speed lead is going to be fought over.
Oh yeah, Oliver has still managed to maintain relevancy even after 2 alleged nerfs. And so the 33% speed lead is always going to be something that's highly fought for. We've had this discussion before on stream too. The other 33% speed leads in the game are shared by just a few units, right? Like Vanessa Trinity, P-Sam, generally a little bit more passive until later on in the game. Even P-Sama, he has to die in order to impact the game to a significant amount. Meanwhile, Oliver is actively trying to like take over a game if you'll let him. So Water Hollyberry, Oliver, anything else that's kind of stood out to you over the course of the season?
The Water Ryu or more. That unit is definitely going to be showcasing a whole lot. Anybody that's going to be playing turn 1 more than likely will be taking this kind of unit here. 24 speed lead, obviously a beneficial effect removing unit. A lot of additional damage. I really tried on that one. That's definitely a unit that a lot of players are going to be desiring.
Yeah, absolutely. Moore always finds a way to climb back up. You know, that's another unit that's been at the top and then he fell off, comes back in, but Moore has kind of experienced kind of a paradigm shift with this season, especially with the advent of things like Josephine with the water paladin getting her buff recently. Considering that she wants to cut in every time that the team gets crowd controlled so long as her passive's online, people are even going so far as to rune the Water Ryu a little differently. And look at that, Stoic. Just mentioned, and there she blows. The Water Ryu right there, and the Antares. Why don't you walk us through the rest of the draft here?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So I feel like this Antares pick was just kind of like, show me if you're going to let the Antares through kind of thing. So if he's first pick, and this is just from what I've heard, that he does first pick the Antares and he gets to know, like, is this unit going through? Are they going to be dealing with it? Or banning it out, you know, however it's going to work. So he's been force picking it a lot, and that's interesting to see a Shizuka in there too. So, I mean, you expect to see a Tian Lang, and anybody who's going to own it is going to be using it here. So, no true surprise, minus that Antares, of course, for Pinkroid.
Right, and I remember browsing around Reddit a little earlier today too and seeing Ongyuki chilling at the top of the tier list for the G3 category. That's a unit that truly offers a lot of damage, high payoff, and he makes you kind of do a little bit of juggling considering you don't want to accidentally crowd control it.
Yep, that's right. And a lot of those things that Truo's taken there, he's just locking in speed leads and, of course, his notable LD Nat 5s of what he's picking in here. Angry Mamot is actually in that same boat that Truewill is in. It's, you know, again, the double speed lead, Oliver and Water Ryu Moore, and of course, 3 very good LDs. I mean, it's going to be that Musha, the Tian Lang, and the Nikki. It's the exact same most picks as Truewill.
Oh yeah, and it makes sense that a lot of them are also the most banned. These are some really high impact monsters that you're seeing down there, and it's really funny to see the Wind Robo chilling amongst the likes of Ongyuki and Tian Lang. He just looks so cute in comparison. Here's our final one. It's Diligent, and people in chat were quick to notice that the Water Hollyberry isn't really appearing as often in the most picked, most banned. I still expected to see it. I'm with you. I still expect to see it tonight because it's been such a crazy unit in terms of the season's impact. But I just reckon that most people at this level will kind of have a strategy in mind to play around it, more so than folks down in the Conqueror category.
Yeah, I believe that as well. I think most players do know how to play around that unit, because that's just like 15%. You're crossing your fingers for something to dig you out of the hole you put yourself in. So maybe we won't even see it tonight. Notable here, all 4 players have the Tian Lang as well. So this could actually be a unit that all 4 players are going to be fighting over.
Oh yeah, and also there's been a lot of Volantis. Obviously, we see the Oliver in there as well. And finally, there's a Masha. Masha been notably absent up until Diligence most picked. Here we go, everybody. The bracket is finally upon us. Pinkroid, number 1 versus number 4, Diligent. And then we got True Whale versus Angry Marmot. We are in for some very fun games tonight, Stoic.
Yeah, we really are. And now that I see these most picks, it's so interesting to see True Whale going up against Angry Mammoth. They have the exact same draft right now. So we're going to see a lot of priority and hopefully a little bit of homework out of the pre-bans. If we see anything outside of the most picked here, you can see that these players have done their homework on each other. And we'll see how that bottom half does later on.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure if they have any surprises, they're going to debut him tonight. This is the place to do it, and it's also part of the reason why I mentioned that those games are kind of elusive for some players. They want to keep all those secrets in the back pocket for things just like tonight. These players are playing for a title that's going to last forever in the Hall of Fame up there. And again, I want to restate, True Whale is here to defend his legend title. He wants to go for the sequential legend titles, which I can't remember if it has been done before. I can't think off the top of my head if someone's gotten it 2 times in a row, but it'd be impressive nonetheless. And then he'd have a total of 3 legend titles under his belt. Meanwhile, Diligent is also trying to get his 3rd legend title, Stoic.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen. Oh, you know what? I feel like we have. I'm pretty sure, and the players could probably let us know in chat. I do believe someone has done a back-to-back Legend Tournament victory. I couldn't tell you what season it was, but I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that does have a back-to-back in that.
Oh yeah, and so we've got Pinkroid up against Diligent coming up first. Now, if you had asked anybody like, what are your favorites to win the whole thing? I think Pinkroid and Diligent would have been up there amongst the likes of True Whale too. To have one of them knocked out so early is pretty crazy. Angry Marmot, I don't think we've seen in a season or 2, but Angry Marmot has made an appearance before, so I'm excited to see what he brings to the table.
Yeah, I was about to say, we have seen Angry Marmot in a legendary tournament before, but obviously when we're looking at tournament experience, we've got True Whale and Pinkroid. I can't forget about Diligent. Come on now, world champion as well. All 3 of those players both have been to the world stage, the world final. So there's a ton of tournament experience here. And obviously Diligent being a champion, you know what I mean? Like, I can't help but put Diligent on the top, you know, as finishing number 1. He's a world champion.
Yeah, I would be so afraid to go up against Diligent right off the bat, but I have a feeling that that's not Pinkroid's style to be afraid, because being at that number 1 slot is kind of a statement piece. I think he's coming into this saying that I'm the one that's deserving of it the most. I think that I believe I'm the one that deserves it. I first picked on Taras the whole season. I didn't see you first picking on Taras.
Yeah, we'll see what happens as we get into this very first match between Pinkroid and Diligent. Are we going to see the Antares first pick? We'll find out.
I want to see it, Stoic.
And we'll see. Maybe he doesn't even want to have to deal with the Antares and might even just do
imagine free ban on Taras. Oh, that would be so crazy, man. Here we go. Round 1, everybody. First set, Pinkroid versus Diligent. A battle of titans right now. Let's see what they're planning to free ban, Stoic.
All right, free band's getting locked in. The Han getting free banned against Diligent, and the Chung Pung getting free banned by Diligent.
These feel, if I had to put an adjective on this, I'd say very specific is one. This isn't what I was anticipating seeing from the free ban. It's very clear Pinkroid knows exactly what Diligent plans on bringing.
Yeah, that Shizuka right there is definitely a take pick for Diligent. He's taking that away from Pinkroid. Doesn't want to let him have it. I'm expecting Pinkroid to probably respond and try to lock down the Shizuka in his own side of the field next time. But it looks like he's going to go for the 33 speed lead in the form of Oliver, the best 33 speed lead, with Praha as well.
Yeah, I can't help but echo the sentiment there. That Shizuka in the first pick, also meaning giving up the Oliver, is quite the choice, and it was so fast too. Diligent really didn't want to play up against that.
Yep. Let's see if Diligent opts to go for a turn 2. It is always very popular. We may even see that Water Holly Berry pop out here. Definitely opting to go turn 2 when you're bringing a Ragdoll to the field for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, wants to sit back, accrue a little value. The Gianna though is pretty aggressive, and there's the Tian Lang, almost like clockwork. I was just about to say, since we saw so much TL in the most picked, most banned, this is exactly the situation you want to just slam him down.
Yeah, I'm a fan right now of Pinkroid's draft. I mean, obviously the Tian Lang's coming off as a must ban when you lock in a unit like Gianna and Ragdoll. Josephine might get dropped on the table here as well and does get locked in. Now, there is no sign of reset either, so stopping this Josephine is going to be very, very difficult. There's also no wind units on the other side yet hitting the field.
There's a little protection in the form of Riley. Pairs really well with Ragdoll for Diligent. Still not exactly enough to defend against the onslaught of Oliver, although it's almost as if Diligent is stuck. It's like, what do you ban here? Do you ban the Oliver? He needs to ban the Tian Lang. It's kind of a close call here, Stoic.
Yeah, that's so interesting to see him lock down that Wind Monkey King. Obviously, he's going to be letting the Josephine and that Praha through here. That is Very interesting to bringing a Sekhmet to. I mean, I feel like he's already out speeding with the speed lead and going to have potentially the Praha, and I would assume the Josephine's going to be pretty quick here. A lot of attack bars going towards this this T length. So to bringing this reset unit, I think he's looking to outspeed the Gianna and then not have to worry about it.
There we go. The bans go out. Tian Lang was really a force ban. You want to ban the Oliver, but you're just in a situation where you can't. And banning Riley means that Pinkroid can do whatever he wants unattested to Diligent's comp.
That is correct. Well, the reset's going to be coming out. He does choose to go for the Shizuka. Gets that reset on top of Shizuka as well. He should be free to go. Oh, he's going to go for the sleep. Very interesting here.
That's what I think Sekhmet does 100% of the time in my head, Stoic. That's not what ends up happening 100% of the time. But functionally optimal is how I imagine my Sekhmet in my head. Critical error coming out, stunning the whole team. That's going to proc Josephine. Now Josephine's free to control another unit, Stoic.
Yep, Provoke's going to come out on top of the Ragdoll here. Does get that script on top of the Pra. It looks like Pra might be one of the units that Diligent wants to try and get rid of first. Curse the Beautiful looking to land true. Bunch of heal blocks coming out. 2 defense breaks on top of Gianna and Ragdoll.
With no cleanse on Pinkroid's side, we're going to see just how strong that bomb is from Gianna.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of damage is going to get put out there. Keep in mind, Shizuka now has bombs on the table for when the third skill is going to be popping out here.
Yeah, this is looking increasingly more dangerous for Pinkroid, especially with that proc from Ragdoll. If he wants to secure the kill right now, he torrents to put Praha in bomb damage range no matter what.
Yeah, there's nothing Pinkroid could do about that. He's going to be down a unit. There's soul protection on top of Gianna, keeping that unit alive here, but he's going to try and keep this Wind Monkey King back. Wind Monkey King really hasn't had a chance to pop off too much just yet. Still have that reset up here. Needs to strip that off. The Gianna does get it with the cooldowns up as well. Praha is going to drop to the bomb.
That was actually a pretty nice steal, too, from Sekhmet, being able to take the Soul Protect away, so that way, if the opportunity presents itself, he can just take the kill on Gianna.
Definitely not over for Pinkroid here. I mean, Oliver can do a lot of, be very oppressive, push back lots of attack bar, and Josephine can be in that same boat if she can get a bunch of stuns out here. Need to get these attack breaks, though, and try to keep Diligent back from potentially taking another unit. Oof.
Yeah, I would love to see another attack break come out on Shizuka if Sekhmet feels like landing on opposite element too, considering that those bombs are on the table. I like what you said there, Stoic, too. He's definitely not out. Pinkroid still has 3 extremely valuable units, and especially when Josephine is performing the way she is right now, I think she's trying to win the game as best she can.
Yeah, she really is. Once this Oliver does drop, I do think Diligent is going to be in a lot of trouble. That Wind Monkey King really is coming in clutch with that passive popping off. It's finally definitely putting Pinkroid in the corner here. This is going to be very tough to bounce back from.
Oh yeah, the Wind Monkey just accruing tons of value alongside the Ragdoll too, with a few crits that are coming out from the Josephine. He's gaining attack bar and coming out of stun faster than you'd like him to. Luckily, Shizuka still has no skills up, so she's almost as if she's not there, but proccing gets her closer to contributing.
Yeah, definitely a lot of additional turns coming out of Diligent here. You know, a couple key ones. You know, able to take units away here. This is just heavily favoring Diligent right now.
Oh yeah, we were talking about how Josephine was trying to win the game for Pinkroid. Well, the monkey tried a little harder for Diligent. That really secured the kill right there. Man, dies to dot damage, and now Pinkroid is left to think about how he's going to approach this next game.
Yeah, Diligent didn't give him much time there, taking round 1 away from Pinkroid.
Yeah, so now Pinkroid 0-1 in favor of Diligent. So now he has to get a point. Just to remind everybody, these semifinals rounds are a best of 3. So that means that Diligent is at match point, Stoic.
Yep, that is right. I mean, Diligent definitely in the place that he wants to be in here. I'm definitely expecting to see a little bit more aggression coming out of Pinkroid here. I think he really needs to turn it around and, you know, get a surprise Diligent, show him something that he wasn't ready for. Because I think Diligent felt very, very comfortable bringing in all those passive units out there. So we'll see what happens. You know, I think Pinkroid's going to take the Shizuka away from him this time. Because I feel like Shizuka gave him a little bit too much to worry about. Even though Sekhmet was doing her job, she was getting her resets out there.
Oh yeah, Sekhmet was actually doing a really good job, which is kind of unlike how she's been in previous Legend tournaments. I think sometimes she doesn't do great under pressure with that third skill. Ironically, with the benefit of hindsight, that was almost a good game for Antares.
I mean, you are right. I feel like most games can be a good game for Antares. I mean, it's just 15%, Evan. Who knows when it can pop off?
Just 15%, but it increases. But that's the benefit of hindsight. Let's see what Pinkroid has to say on the matter. Again, Diligent at match point. This could be the end of the Legend Tournament run for Pinkroid if he's not careful.
Yep, let's see what happens. New pre-bans getting locked in right here. Han and Chung Hung are available as we get into round 2 between Pinkroid and Diligent.
I don't know what I'm anticipating to see. Maybe we just get the Shizuka off the table so nobody can deal with it. Maybe we're a little too stunned by the monkey and all the procs that he got, all the trying he did. Who knows what's going to come out here, Stone?
Yeah, I definitely don't expect to see a Win Monkey King ban. I feel like that's not something you worry about. It's just something that ends up happening. Gianna and Shizuka. Interesting pre-ban there on the Shizuka. Diligent not wanting Pinkroid to have that unit.
Yeah, the Shizuka seemed to be a pain point for both players, especially considering how fast Diligent tried to take it away, which you so aptly pointed out in that first round. The Tian Lang coming out so quick. It's never too fast to bring a Tian Lang.
Yep. Well, that Oliver gets slammed down by the Pinkroid, and it's a great place to put down a Tian Lang as well, especially when both players have that unit. And looks like Pinkroid is demanding turn 1 here. He does have that Chung Pung that was previously banned in the past, and that Water Hollyberry Manon potentially being drafted by Diligent.
Manon being a great answer to the turn 1 adjustment that Pinkroid is going to. Seems like he is trying to adapt that aggro strategy, which I think would be good, save for that Manon who is just ready to counter at any given time. Word on the street is that it's 15%, but we'll see what it feels like once we're in game if it gets through.
Yep, that's right. I'm expecting Diligent to probably wrap up with a Ragdoll the way his draft looks right now. I just feel like Diligent doesn't have enough I feel like not enough damage to keep up with Pinkroid. I feel like Pinkroid, I love that Wusa last pick there. I think the Wusa is going to be a very safe pick there for Pinkroid. And there's a lot of aggression on the side of Pinkroid. So I guess this is the route that he probably needs to take here to take a match away from Diligent. Let's see what this last pick could possibly be here with Diligent.
Curious to see what he locks down. That Shan, or Shan, depending on how you like to pronounce it, is actually a low-key, really cool pick because it stuns. How do you deal with the Water Holly early? You stun it. You crowd control it so it doesn't get the parry stoic. It should be interesting.
Definitely. Volantis is going to be the last unit Diligent's going to be locking down here. He has a very strange synergy to Diligent's team here. I give a lot of favor to Pinkroid. Saying that, I have no clue what Manon's going to be capable as we get into this round number 2 between Pinkroid and Diligent.
A lot of this match is going to depend on whether or not that Water Hollyberry, the Manon, behaves herself. We'll have to see. There's a lot of counterattack potential here. Volantis already getting the first one off Pinkroid's opening move.
And that's big. Pinkroid getting that Despair stun on top of Manon, which is fantastic. Another stun going on top of Tian Lang, so that is a Despair Chung Pung. And the resets attack bar reduction is going to be coming up for Pinkroid. So as long as he doesn't run out of gas here, he's going to be looking really good. Big skill, too, going out on the Manon as well. If he can get rid of Manon, that's going to be GG. Game is already going to be won by Pinkroid for sure.
Yeah, this is huge for Pinkroid right now. If he can just eliminate that Manon real quick before she gets too many turns and gets out of the defense break, that could mean game for him because now it's going to be a lot more predictable in terms of what Diligent's team is going to be throwing out.
Oof. All right, a little bit of saving grace happening here with that additional turn from Tian Lang, able to get a stun there on top of the Chung Hung. We have just a little bit of poke damage coming up from this Volantis here. I think if Molly's able to get any more turns, she might heal up the team a little bit too much for Pinkroid here, but we'll see what happens. Looking for a little bit of attack bar reduction, and he's able to remove the Manon from... Not remove Manon! Manon was able to parry the damage!
I wanted to say it, Stoic. I wanted to say it. The Oliver did not go for the Manon on the second attack, and it might have just cost him at least a unit. We're gonna have to see. He had one more attack that he could have thrown out, but he didn't go for it because in theory it should have been dead.
That is terrifying. I had already confirmed Manon's death, and she said no.
Yeah, that was very close here, and it doesn't help that Oliver, we're now getting more increasingly aware that Oliver is feeding the Tian Lang attack bar.
Yep, well, this might be enough here. Oh my god, don't make the Caster's Curse.
Please don't.
All right, Manon is gone now. skill 2, finishing off Manon. And I think
if that
this
wasn't
should be
the
in
caster's
the back
curse.
for Pinkroid.
Dude,
I
that was
didn't
the
want to
caster's
curse it.
curse. It really was, man. Oh, here we go. Tian Lang finally throwing down defense break. That was a pretty big W in this course of the game for Pinkroid. But Diligent still has some high-value units in play. Let's see if he can bring it to a victory.
Yep, he definitely does. I think what he really needs here is additional turns coming out of the Molly. Molly's rock enough to be able to save his team and heal everybody up here. So that was a brilliant 2-turn sleep that he was able to get on top of that Tian Lang as well. He's going to be gaining all that attack bar for nothing because he's going to be sleeping for so many of the turns.
Yeah, if I were Pinkroid, I'd be really happy that I got that 2-turn sleep just to give myself a breathing window, especially when the Hollyberry gets a 15% on the killing blow. You feel like you're owed at least one woost of sleep.
There we go. And we've got Molly looking for some strips. No additional turns. Once again, are coming out here. No stuns are going to be happening from this Volantis as well. A little bit of attack bar gain. Double despair stun. That's going to be it for him. There's just no way you can come back from that.
Pinkroid clutching it up, tying the game, and taking us to the 3rd round of our first best of 3. Stoic, that made my heart both jump up and then fall all the way back down in multiple points during the game.
It really does. It gets so scary when you legit go from a position of knowing that Pinkroid's going to be fine. Something happens and you just get nervous all of a sudden like that. Wasn't that okay? All right, and then it ended up working out for him. But it was a very, very good draft from Pinkroid. Pinkroid had that thing won from the draft, but it's just that Manon is very unpredictable, and it didn't pop off like it usually does there. To be honest with you, that was a very good Manon in my eyes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. That was Manon kind of in the realm as she's meant to be played, as a counter to that turn 1 comp. And she really only had one really meaningful parry, but it was so meaningful that it's embedded in our memory. That was pretty crazy. Pinkroid had one more attack that he could have thrown on to guarantee it, but it's those moment-to-moment things that just give Manon the fuel she needs to counterattack. Let's see the pre-bans here, Stoic. Ragdoll and Chungpung get pre-banned out in our final game of this matchup.
Yeah, with the Ragdoll pre-ban, I feel like I'm expecting to see something similar coming out of Pinkroid here that we just saw in the last match. He doesn't want to see a unit like that hit the field here. Diligent's going to be taking that Shizuka, and then Pinkroid looks like he is going to be leaning into that similar draft to last time, bringing double speed lead. Diligent bringing the Tian Lang, and of course that Masha being a very, very good unit here. And we're going to see the Wind Robo. The Wind Robo can be super repressive, be able to strip all of the buffs off of Diligent's team here. He can be pushing a lot of attack bar back there.
Oh, Pinkroid rethinking the Wind Robo, which he might be trying to see if maybe he has a window to not ban the Tian Lang. Oh, but the Praha would make me think that he is, in fact, locked into that. Diligent drafting that Masha was a very nice choice because we found that even with one counter in Tian Lang, if Tian Lang gets banned, he's without a super clean answer to Oliver, and Masha is still Oliver's natural predator in the wild.
Well, so with that Oliver as a first pick and a Tian Lang hits the field, you almost have to ban out the Tian Lang already. So Diligent needs to look at this draft like he already has Tian Lang banned, and he has to draft accordingly right now. Pinkroid's looking very, very fast, and Diligent's going to be responding with a segment in Gianna, but he's lacking a speed lead here.
There we go. So the Wind Robo is confirming he is going to be banning the Tian Lang as he was drafting ahead of time. Meanwhile, Diligent does have a choice. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw the Oliver get banned, but we did see the Sean. He finished my sentence for me. We did see the Sean banned in a previous match. Here we go, Stoic.
Yep, let's see what happens here. I give a lot of favor right now to Pinkroid's draft. I feel like he's got the control. We'll see what happens, though. That is a very fast Wind Robo getting a full team strip here. Looking for some despair stuns. Does land on top of the Tian Lang, and could probably put everybody to sleep there.
It would probably be good if he wants to preserve the stun on the Tian Lang. He goes for the full team sleep to get himself some room. He got it.
Yeah, more importantly, those speed buffs, which is going to help Pinkroid just lap his opponent here. And you can see he is going to be pummeling that damage right into that Tian Lang. Looking for an attack break on top of the Mash to limit the damage coming out of that. Skill 2 with triple stuns coming out of Tian Lang. Kind of exactly what Diligent needed to see here.
A proc and hugely rewarded from that Tian Lang. Now Diligent can kind of make an impact on the game. Diligent trying to take down that Wind Robo as soon as possible here, Stoic.
He really is making a massive impact here because Pra's not going to have that skill 3. Not if she procs here. No amount of attack bar gain is going to be helping that. Now that Pinkroid's going to be down a unit, obviously a lot of favor goes towards Diligence Draft. At the moment, Shizuka is going to have some, I believe that second skill is going to be up here, and I think Pinkroid wants to stop the second skill from popping back up. Probably keep that Shizuka back.
Yeah, he wants to try it. He's really counting on no proc from the Shizuka right here, and unfortunately, you just can't bank on it. If Shizuka has the chance, she will throw that wrench in the machine.
And that is massive for Diligent right now. That is a big proc to get that third skill out there, putting Pinkroid down a unit. Not looking good at all for Pinkroid. No additional turns going to be coming out of that Oliver. Even though if Oliver did, there's just plenty of immunity on the other side of the field. There's not too much left that Pinkroid can do.
Oh man, if only he had used that skill on the Shizuka just one more time, Stoic, to give himself a little more breathing room. He was already behind though, so I could see I could understand wanting to high roll. Here we go, guys. Diligent is our first finalist at the Legend Tournament for Season 24. Stoic, what a game.
It really was. Like I said, I gave a lot of favor towards Pinkroid. Pinkroid had the draft to win that match there, but you know what? Welcome to Summoner's War, where some violent procs can definitely turn things around there, and Shizuka was able to really turn things around there.
Yeah, I would have liked to see an alternate ending of that game where Pink went for the additional reset on the Shizuka just in case. You know, there's a long time ago back when Velajul was still in the meta, like all those years back, you always reset or restun the Velajul, because if he can proc, he will, and it's going to ruin your game. And I feel like Shizuka's in that same category. If she procs, it's just more devastating than the average unit.
Yeah, very much so. It's just way too impactful, and that's exactly what you were saying with the Velajul. Velajul did that almost exactly, where it's 3-turn immunity, boosting up your attack bars. It just did, well, cleansing the entire team and boosting up their attack bars and giving them 3-turn immunity. Just that alone just gave way too much value off a violent proc to be able to do that. Shizuka's kind of similar, but I would say even more impressive with everything that she does, because there's negative effects and positive effects for your own team there. Just Shizuka to able to get that additional turn and just blow off that third man, it's huge.
Yeah. All right, everybody, so we still have tons of games ahead of us. We've got a lot more fun waiting for us. We're going to go to a quick break. Don't leave. We'll be right back.
Let's go!
Hello everyone and welcome back to the RTA Season 24 Legend Tournament. I'm still Evan and with me it's still Stoic. What's up, Stoic?
I believe I am still here and awake and ready for another match.
We'll keep track of the latter half of that statement. We'll see how awake you are by the end of this. Though that first game, even though it went to 3 rounds, it was still pretty quick, Stoic. We're looking at a highlight reel right now of Pinkroid versus Diligent.
Yep, definitely some good matches we had here. I feel like Shizuka was just the star of that first matchup. You know, Diligent knew to take that unit away from Pinkroid, and then to even pre-ban it in round number 2, where he did lose round number 2, where he opted to go for some weird, strange turn 2 team that really didn't work out for him. So I give a lot of credit to Diligent on what he drafted here, but Pinkroid definitely deserved that second round victory where we saw him draft a very turned 1 team that he ended up bringing into round number 3 as well. And I give a lot of credit to Pinkroid, and I think it just came down to there was procs, but there was also some decisions that were made, and we'll see that shortly as we get into that match number 3.
Yeah, exactly. And we'd seen a little of that here too at the underestimating of the Water Hollyberry's ability to proc at the end. One more chance to attack was slightly missed. But I think really Pinkroid played really well. He certainly drafted well too. But neither of these players you could shake a stick at, you know, like, or that's not the saying, but they're both very talented players, as you know. Losing to Diligent has SWC history, huh, Star?
Exactly. I mean, losing to Diligent, you can be upset at it, but you can't be upset at it. The guy's a world champion, so it's
lost to the world's best.
Incredible to be here in the first place. But yeah, it takes the best to beat the best. You know what I mean?
And here we go. So this one is a quick mile-high look at round 3 and what happened inside of it. We'll see what happens towards the end as well, but there was a lot of resetting. Pinkroid took early control, but then Diligent took it right back with triple despair stun, or rather, natural stun from skill 2 could have been as well.
Yeah, those are the big moments for Diligent. Diligent ended up getting a very nice skill 2 from Tian Lang, able to stun everybody up there, and ultimately Masha pummeling a ton of damage here. So where Shizuka got that 3rd skill off, prior to that, Oliver's last turn did not pay the attention to Shizuka, where probably should have received attention in the form of a reset there. But it's small minor things. Maybe if he had reset the Shizuka proc wouldn't have been so impactful. But still, I mean, it comes down to the rest of the match. Who knows where it would have went after that. But well done, Diligent, on taking down Pinkroid.
Yes, it was a really good game from both players. We talked about it during the break, Stoic. I would have liked to see an alternate ending of that game where maybe Pinkroid had reset the Shizuka instead. We talked about how, like, even resetting the Tian Lang, it doesn't get you as far as other units. But, you know, I think that was less of a misplay and more of him just saying, like, you know what, I'm going to go for a high roll. I know this probably won't get me the win. I'm already on the kind of bottoming out here. But that's in the past. Let's look to the future. True Whale, who's here to defend his legend title up against Angry Marmot.
Whoa.
So if we're going into round 1.
Is this, Evan, is this 2v2 or is this SWC mode 1-on-1? We're seeing a Kraka ban here in the pre-ban section.
That's unheard of. I mean, we labeled them as specific earlier. I don't think I could think of a more specific pre-ban than a Kraka.
Well, we're going to see these two digging into each other's boxes a whole lot. Dak Onimusha going to be a unit that True Wheel is going to be taking away because both players have a very similar draft style right now. Nikki, something that both these players have been taking with, obviously, that Mormont's going to be taking that unit here. Angry Mormont's going to be taking that unit here. And then a Dominic that we've seen be utilized from True Whale. I'm not too sure he's still utilizing the Dominic as much nowadays, but Shizuka Ragdoll locked in for True Whale.
Oh, I really like True Whale's draft. I love seeing the Ongyuki get play. He's made it to the top of the tier list for the G3 category for good reason, offering so much damage even if he's not stunned. And here's Angry Marmot bringing a stun into it.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a water Ryu coming out here. I feel like True Will probably should see this because it's got to be a speed lead and probably another strip attack bar reduction because I feel like he needs something to go ahead of this Eludia, and it's going to be a Carlos here. And I know you're excited to see the Carlos.
Oh my god, my man, my boy. I'm so excited. I love this unit. This is like stylish Raok. And I can't think of a time when we've seen Carlos at the Legend Tournament stage. We've certainly seen him in America's Cup before, but this is pretty hype, and he's definitely making it in because he is not the most threatening unit on the table.
Yep, HP leads for both players here. The Eludia and the Sekhmet are going to get the ban out. I'm expecting right side Angry Moment to be taking first turn. Let's see what happens here. This should be a very quick Nikki as well.
Yes, in theory. So Wind Robo doing skill 2. Ideally, you want to see the Nikki going right after that with skill 3. Nana will not be able to land anything. Shizuka can't do too much here. Oh, that's a nice immunity to dodge the
That's
stun,
exactly
though.
what that was. He used the third skill to get his immunity up here, and he's not going to get a ton of value if he goes in with the third. He needed to heal himself up there, which is quite interesting that he decided to go with the damage instead.
This right here could be the game ender, depending on how much damage we see come out here. The confirmed kill on Ongyuki gives Carlos a passive here. The Nana is going to be feeding the Carlos the whole time. Skill 1, one more. Woo. One more coming out. Oh, he gets caught by the ragdoll.
Wait. I don't know why he didn't choose to get the defense break on top of the Wind Robo, because if he finished off the Wind Robo, he would have got an orb there. That may have been a misclick.
May have been, actually. Dude, this Carlos was just a perfect pick into the Nana, though. If there's a unit that Carlos loves truly in this game,
and there's the cleanse,
Nana.
heal, and there's nothing True Will can do about this.
Man, if you told me that we were going to see Carlos shine today, Stoic, I wouldn't have believed you.
That was a quick ending to that one as well. I smell a misclick on that with that defense break. It was just very obvious, and Carlos was not the target there.
You know what else, though? He would have gotten a turn even if the Wind Robo passed away, Stoic. That's the cool thing. I love that about Carlos, is he doesn't care who died. He's attending the funeral. That's what his passive is doing. He's going to be there. And I truly hope that one day someone loves me to the same extent that Carlos loves Nana. You know, like he just loves to see that unit feeds off the Soul Stone. Awesome. What a fun game.
Definitely was a fun game. It's so crazy to see those two high volatile units like that. The Weapon Masters, they're able to pump out so much damage and get crazy amount of turns off of all these kills. It is very exciting to watch there. Let's see what happens though. We get into round number 2 between True Will and Angry Moment.
And True Whale has what it takes to get a point on the board here, Stoic. We know this man will not go down without a fight, and he is up for a repeat on Legend titles right now, bringing him up to a total of 3. Let's check the pre-bans. I don't think we're going to see something quite like Kraka. Turns out we're not seeing something in that category. We got the Wind Robo and Volantis, both generally good pre-bans.
Yeah, he knew how fast that Wind Robo was. That's a great pre-ban, knowing how fast it was. Volantis getting the pre-ban out here in both units. I mean, both players really putting so much priority on this Dakoni Musha. True Will looking to get a 33 speed lead in the form of Oliver on the side of the field, as well as this Masha.
Nice opener from True Whale, going for the opposite of what his opponent is going for. It looks like he really wants that turn 1, whereas Angry Marmot is kind of trading.
Is Angry Moment doing True Whale's draft in the first round? So then True Whale should just do Angry Moment's draft that he did in the first round.
This is the different Spider-Man meme of, like, you know, pointing at each other. You know, this is that. We had that this morning in chat. That's crazy that happened again today. And there's the more that we foreshadowed last game, and the Nikki makes a return. But everything else on that side is plagiarized from True Whale's team.
Yep, so keep in mind that Shizuka is faster than the Nikki, but that'll depend. Is the more going to come through? We'll see. We'll see, because the more could be there to push back the attack bars, and then we're not going to have a Shizuka pop out here. We'll see. We've got Molly as the last pick for True Whale, though, as he locks it in.
Yeah, you know, I liked both of those last pick options from True Whale. Molly's cool because she interrupts the cleave in progress Abellio would have protected. Doesn't matter. Angry Marmot's going to ban out the Molly, and Nana is banned on Angry Marmot's side.
Now, after seeing the Molly, I would have figured the Dakuni Musha was going to be getting banned out here, but we'll see what happens with the speed lead for Angry Marmot and HP lead for True Whale.
And what a beefy speed lead it is for True Whale, but more is nonetheless going to take that opening turn, go for skill 2. A nice proc of revenge from the Tessarion there, Stoic.
Yeah, nice revenge right onto that passive there, so it's not going to be a unit that can really save itself anymore with the passive down. No defense break is going to be landing on top of the probably max resistance Mickey. A ton of damage coming out from this deck. Onimusha. Shizuka barely holds on.
There is not much in this world that I fear more than an attack buffed Ongyuki, Stoic. That thing really does some serious damage, even if it wasn't controlled prior.
The resistance! No attack bar pushback here. That means this Shizuka is definitely getting dropped.
Uh-oh. There she goes, Oliver first, Shizuka shortly after. There are 2 units left on the side of True Whale. Is this about to be a 2-0 from Angry Marmot?
That's 100% true. That will be a 2-0 for Angry Marmot here. There's not much True Will to do about that. No attack bar reduction that he got in that one. Definitely did him in there. And there's the 2-0, guys. Well done, Angry Marmot.
Congratulations to Angry Marmot. Man, you hate to see it, especially for True Whale in this case, being denied the repeat Legend title, but I tell you, he has made a mark on the Hall of Fame already, and Angry Marmot treated us to some really cool games there, Stoke. Very fast, very aggressive comps.
I love the fast pace. I love the aggressive drafting. Can we see a very aggressive, fast-paced final as well? I could only hope, Evan.
Stoic's checking his watch. He's like, what time is it? Is it still 3:49? You know, it's in the morning. Awesome games. I really hope that he brings more of that, because it's going to be really fun to see Diligent have to try to adapt against a comp that's that aggressive. And I can only pray that we'd see Carlos again, but the only realm of possibility where I could really see that happening is if Anana gets drafted before. Everybody, we love that you're here watching the Legend Tournament with us, and we want to make sure that you don't walk away empty-handed. Here's our first code right here, ready for SWC 23. It's at the bottom of the screen, so if you're on the Android OS, you can just type that in on the events page at the very bottom, but if you are on iOS, our lovely mods are going to have a link that you can click in chat. I'm going to have to do that later, so I hope that that stays pinned. I'm going to have to get those mystical scrolls, Stoic, because I've been getting real fortunate with the Nat 5s recently, actually.
I have not been.
I got 5 Nat 5s in 2 days. Granted, 4 of them were dupes, but you know, the last one was Nana. Speak of the Nana, and she shall appear.
I could only hope for a Nana myself, so maybe it's hiding in those 2 mystical scrolls. We'll see, because I think I could use some more.
It's somewhere in the hand, man. You just got to squeeze it to the top. Guys, we've got the finals coming up ahead of us. We're going into the best of 5 rounds. Stick around to find this season's legend right after this break.
Let's go.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the RTA Season 24 Legend Tournament, this time for the finals. It's me, Evan, along with Stoic, and we are both very thrilled for this next set, right?
Very thrilled and very awake, Evan. We've got a fantastic final ahead with Angry Mamot and, of course, Diligent.
Yeah, and we saw one of those quite elusive cleaves at Legend Tournament settings. We haven't seen one of those in a little while, so that was quite the quick game that Angry Marmot brought for us. Here we're watching a highlight reel of the set that we just saw, and this is the one where he brought the Dominic and the Carlos.
Yep, that's right. That was so much damage that Angry Mamot brought here. And I think even if True Will had killed the defense broken Wind Robo, it wouldn't have granted enough, and there was no way that True Will was going to come back from that no matter what. So, misclick or not, it really didn't matter in that very first match. It was a very, very volatile draft with those two weapon masters.
You're right about that. That was like one of those, it was minutia. The moment he was already pretty far behind, the very next turn was going to decide it. So I think that's good analysis. And here comes the Ongyuki getting you one step closer to bed at a good time, Stoic.
Yep, that's right. I mean, I love it when matches are this quick. This is great for me. I feel like they gave this one to me. I feel like I'm winning here, Evan. Look at the damage, though, from this Dakoni Musha. I want one of these units so bad. It brings so much damage to the table.
Oh, and how awesome would it be considering that you have a Nikki as well? Like, that would just, I feel like an Ongyuki would slot.
You don't need to talk about that, Evan. Don't bring all my secrets out.
Don't say that in front of chat, Evan. Here we go, guys. The bracket, the journey that we've been on over the course of the Season 24 Legend Tournament. And we are met with Diligent and Angry Marmot in the finals. An SWC champ and a non-newcomer to the Legend Tournament scene, Angry Marmot. But I don't think that Angry Marmot has successfully achieved the Legend title, Stoic. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Maybe my memory
No, Angry Mamot has not. Diligent sitting with 2 titles and a world title as well. Diligent looking definitely like a favorite right now going up against Angry Mamot.
Definitely, if history is to say anything, if tournament experience that we frequently mention in these tournament settings, if that has anything to do with how this goes, then Diligent is definitely favored out of these 2 players just on experience alone. But you can't leave it up to just that, because Angry Marmot has proven that they are capable of shaking things up at the tournament scene.
Yep, most definitely. Now, I'm not too sure the draft that he had brought to True Will with all the weapon masters, I feel like that's not something that'll work that well against Diligent, but who knows? We might get surprised here. We might see something similar. I think we might see more LDs out of both players. Keep in mind, both players having Tian Lang.
Yes, that's very important to remember, and it's also important to remember that Angry Marmot has Carlos. No, I'm just kidding. You're very unlikely to see Carlos again unless Anana is drafted. Here we go, guys. Round 1 of the finals. Remember, we're at a best of 5 now, so these players are going to have a little bit more time to feel each other out and adapt their strategies accordingly.
Alrighty. Pre-bans locked in right here. Dakoni Musha getting pre-banned by Diligent, and the Volantis getting pre-banned by Angry Marmot.
Very important pre-bans, I'd call them. Ongyuki has just been tearing it up this season. Volantis too, but Ongyuki truly with those cleave comps. Wow, Oliver immediately next. Tian Lang in second.
That's right. And we brought that up before. Tian Lang's almost definitely going to be hitting the field when you're going to be taking an Oliver. Angry Marmot's going to be locking in the Molly in the water. Holly Berry.
I'm a little bit nervous about this for Angry Marmot because he has yet to display a turn 2 bruiser style comp in this tournament. Perhaps he's more comfortable with it than I think, but this is a pretty drastic shift from what he brought in his opening games here. Meanwhile, Diligent is drafting what he's very comfortable playing.
Yeah, I did not like that Bullvac pick there because I felt like he was going to go with a Bullvac and into like a Mo-Long potentially, but his resets and too much attack bar pushback on the other side of the field, I don't think that was going to be the draft there. Juno and Masha look like they're potentially getting locked in by Angry Marmot. Oh, swaps over to a Jehoshaphat. I like that a little bit better.
Oh, the Nefties brings in quite a bit of pressure here and tells me that maybe he wants to ban out the Juno, but I don't think you can expect the Nefties to actually make it through. I think Angry Marmot's in a position where he's got to ban that.
Yeah, I feel like you got to ban out the Nefties when you already locked in that Juno there, because that's exactly what that's saying to me. And there's no way you let that Juno through if you think your Nefties is getting banned out as well. So let's see what happens. These players definitely have a couple options out here.
Yeah, we might see a situation where Diligent kind of reads the situation 2 steps ahead and doesn't ban the Juno. Oh, but he takes the ban. Seems like he wasn't totally sure what his opponent was going to ban there, so he just went for the safe one instead.
Yep. Well, we've got speed leads for both teams here, but I'm definitely not expecting Angry Moment's team to be going first.
Absolutely not, Stoic, and Sekhmet instead takes turn 1. And there's some reset targets here, including like the Josephine goes for the mana to deny the skill 2 that gives that infinite immunity and defense buff.
Yeah, he was looking to get that Despair stun on the mana, not going to be happening here. Mana's already starting to pop up just a little bit with some parries here.
Here's the thing that you notice going into this when you got that increased cooldown time option from Sekhmet is that everything on Angry Marmot's side has really low cooldowns. Nice proc from the Tian Lang into skill 2.
Wow, look at that additional damage popping out there. Josephine's already pretty much gone here. Beautiful heal blocks are popping up as well. He needs to push back the attack bar, and it does get resisted. Oliver is glanced, though, looking for any attack bar pushback, not receiving anything at all.
Yeah, and that's the one time where you actually really want the attack bar here, because even feeding the Tian Lang would have just pushed him up next in the turn order, and he already had full attack bar. Oh, this Tian Lang won't stop, Stoic.
No, this Tian Lang will not stop the additional turns. It's very, very impressive when you're able to keep up with that damage, and you can just see the numbers this Tian Lang's producing right now. It's putting out so much damage on this field.
You saw that from Angry Marmot there. He has the game plan. He's got his sights locked on the Tian Lang. If he kills that thing, Manon and Oliver in combination might actually be able to take this game still, believe it or not, because the consistent source of defense break will be off the table.
Yeah, you got Oliver trying to do his best impression of Tian Lang, and I'm not sure it is going to be enough here. Defense break does land on top of the Tian Lang as well, and Diligent looking to get rid of that Molly does successfully get rid of the unit.
Here we go. This is the thing. He's shifting targets here, but I don't necessarily know if that's really what you want to do. I think you just want to capitalize on the defense break as much as humanly possible.
Well, the thing is the Manon might be the unit to get rid of it here. If he can get a parry off of any of those hits and doesn't receive a single parry. Now, one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of this unit is a 1v4 is still on the table here, Evan.
It is, but I still feel like he played it a little dangerously there, Stoic. Oh, that was a huge confirm by killing the Tian Lang, but he did get close to the danger zone there by not hitting the Tian Lang and instead choosing to hit the Chung Pung, but now it's looking like the Water Hollyberry might lock down.
We'll see what happens. I mean, Chung Pung's going to be playing a very big role, able to reset attack bar pushback as well, but needs to get these parries off and does not receive a parry there. Diligent taking round 1 away from Angry Moment.
Against all odds, the Sekhmet, the fire unit, is the one to land the defense break on the Water Hollyberry right there, Stoic. Notably, none of the other debuffs that she's trying to put on skill 2. She lands the one that matters. God bless Sekhmet. She really wanted Diligent to win that one, and she took the point for him.
Well, early into that match as well, Sekhmet was the one that landed the heal blocks, and those heal blocks were insane to remove 2 units from that field there. Molly wasn't able to heal unit on far right that I can't remember right now, and even heal herself there, all thanks to Sekhmet. So she brought so much volatility and honestly gave a lot of favor to Diligent's draft.
Definitely MVP in that situation. There were a couple tough calls made by Angry Marmot there. Like, I still would have liked to see him just hit the Tian Lang earlier, because if he did that, then the Oliver would have still been alive a little longer. Maybe even the Molly wouldn't have been kill confirmed at that point too, but it's still hoping for that 15% proc rate. And it's really looking like 15% in these games, Stoic.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I still think that the decisions that Angry Moment made, I'm going to stand by them, because I think what he was hoping for is all those additional hits from the Tian Lang. That could have been a parry, and that Tian Lang could have been off the table sooner than expected.
The Onkyuki and the Volantis are on the drafting table again. Let's see what gets banned out. I was expecting to see the Oliver, but the Nikki was a small surprise to me. Maybe it's to deny it in combination with that Onkyuki.
Yeah, Nikki and Oliver. So to see the Oliver getting banned out, I feel like I want to say Angry Moment's gonna try his luck with drafting Tian Lang himself, but we'll see.
Diligent going for the classic Shizuka first pick as he's established in this game. There's the Ongyuki that we knew was going to follow, and that makes it ever more likely that the Nikki was banned out to deny the attack buff on it.
There's a lot of other ways that he could probably bring attack buff to the table, but honestly, the Dakonimusha doesn't even need it. He brings so much damage to the table here. Wind Robo is going to get locked in next to that Dakonimusha. Diligent looking to respond.
Dang Skippy, he's got to put something here. I don't know if he wants to revenge this. I don't know if he wants to just outlast it. Masha tells me he wants to just outlast it if he can, but we've seen Masha crumble to Ongyuki before. A little revenge interruption is welcome, but you're afraid to stun the Ongyuki.
Yep, that's right. There's Masha. Volantis getting locked in. Ragdoll and Juno. Looks like they're going to be hitting the table for Angry Moment.
Just like that, like clockwork. You see Juno, you see Ragdoll. You can guarantee there's going to be a Tian Lang after that for Diligent.
100% Tian Lang gets drafted and probably will get banned as well, because I don't think he can deal with a unit like that. Interesting that he's going to be bringing a Nana to the table. I feel like if Angry Moment locks in the Nana, you're free to ban the Dakonimusha, and then you just play accordingly.
Yeah, that's the thing, Stoic. Like, it's a little too passive. You really want to bring something else that offers some sort of threat, like the Ongyuki in that slot. Meanwhile, I did like the Abellio for when Diligent wasn't banning the Ongyuki, but I feel like now maybe he is.
Let's see here. Because, I mean, with this Wusa last pick, he could actually ban out the Volantis and not giving a strip to Diligent, but the only strip would be the Tian Lang, and he'd gain a lot of attack bar from that Juno and Ragdoll.
Whoa.
Wow, I was not expecting a Masha ban out yet.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a Masha ban. I wasn't even expecting the Wusa ban. I guess Diligent is really expecting this Shizuka to make some waves here when it's just Juno on the other side. Instead,
I'm expecting this Tian Lang to make some waves. We'll see what happens, though.
Tian Lang already looking like his attack bar wasn't even reduced with all that extra gain. Nice stun on the Wind Robo, and Ongyuki quick to cut Tian Lang's health in half.
It really did. That's so much damage that Dakonimusha is able to produce here. No Despair Stun's going to be coming out here. I think he's going to rock the skill too, just put out more damage there. Looks like he's going to go for the defense break on top of the Dakonimusha as well. He needs to heal up that Tian Lang though.
He does, but he's really debating using Wild Blow here instead just to try to get some damage in. Opts for what I would say is the safer play.
Definitely the safer play indeed. Additional turns popping out. Does have glancing. Can't pummel as much damage as he wants here. On top of the defense break with that Tian Lang. We've got skills available with the Shizuka. We could go for all things and drop that down.
Don't do it. There's a stun in the pool. Don't do it. Nice. Awesome. Clutch avoidance there. Diligent almost was in a position to stun the Ongyuki on accident and give him a free attack buff, basically.
Yep, he keeps doing more damage, more additional turns coming out of this Tian Lang. Tian Lang has been an absolute all-star for Diligent.
Oh yeah, proccing as many times as he can, denying attack bar, he's doing everything he can. Here we go, big skill 2 from Volantis to confirm the kill on Ongyuki, maybe? Why? I was really considering. There we go.
I agree with that. I really like that decision there. It's more damage, more dots on the field here. Looking for potential stuns there on top of this Wind Robo, not actually receiving it though. I think he's good to, he has to get back into his I guess, Druid form, not the bad form here. He's going to go for the Wild Blow to get him transformed back there. A little bit of damage coming towards the Ragdoll.
Yeah, good call there. He needed to get back to Abellio. Unfortunately, the Tian Lang does work against the Abellio draft, cutting the attack bar gain in half. But it's still more valuable in the long term to be in the Druid form as much as possible. Trying to get stuns, only manages to get it on the one unit you don't want to stun.
Yep, I think he has to go for all things now. Unless he goes for a skill 2 to try and save his Volantis, and that is what he's going to be doing here. No strip is going to be available with the Wind Robo, unless, of course, the Wind Robo is able to get additional turn, which is not happening here.
Fishing for just some more damage whenever possible. I don't think he wants to push the Ragdoll if he can. Here comes Tian Lang to try to do Tian Lang things, apply defense break, do a little additional damage. Let's see if the Volantis can manage
just get
to
additional
die.
turns either way.
Every time, Stoic.
Wow, great damage from the Ragdoll, though. Able to, not potentially drop two units here. I feel like I would have went for that, though, to drop the Volantis, but that's not what's going to happen. We do have all things still available. Diligent has yet pressed that third skill.
It's time for the all things. You got to stun it up and reapply the soul protection on the Volantis here. That's what needed to happen. That would have been great, but still he gets to revive. But I would have liked to see him take that window of opportunity.
Yeah, well, Juno, I think, is in great positioning to pretty much finish Diligent off. Well, maybe not the Juno, but Juno should be able to stay alive, and I think Diligent's trying to get rid of this Juno here because he sees it as a big threat.
Yeah, you're right. Juno does present a really big threat in the long term, especially after applying so many debuffs like that.
Yep, definitely. That revenge there to finish off the Volantis. It's just a Shizuka and a Balio that it's all that's left on the field right now, glancing on top of the Ragdoll. I'm sure this glancing isn't going to do too much there against Diligent.
Oh, he really wanted to despair stun there to just try to deny some damage, but instead pushed Shizuka down far enough that now Abellio could kill the Juno if he wanted to. Opts instead to just heal up the Shizuka to keep it around longer. We have yet to see all things. I'm reminded of one of the rounds that we saw at the America Summit, Stoic, where the Shizuka just held on to the skills a little too long.
Yeah, I can't remember what match that was, but this might be the case of it. But if Diligent's able to get rid of this this Juno, he's going to be free for all things, and he's going to really take advantage of that. But he would have had that skill up maybe 2 times already if he had used it in the past, but we'll see what happens here, because I do believe Angry Moment's going to be taking this round number 2.
Thankfully, it's not over after this. Like we said, we are shifted over to a best of 5, so these players aren't at match point yet. If Angry Marmot takes this one, ooh, the proc from the Ragdoll is going to secure the win. It's just going to expedite things. Angry Marmot tying it up 1-1.
Really good match that really dragged out there, and it's so interesting when you get put in positions where you almost don't want to use skills like that. So Juno really is not something that Diligent wanted to have to deal with throughout that match there. So I don't know if I don't know if Juno becomes a pre-ban for Diligent or a unit that he might prioritize to take away from him, but we'll see as we get into round number 3. I do think the Shizuka, though, is something that Diligent's going to try and lock down again.
Yeah, it's so funny because, like, normally you wouldn't expect to see Juno show up in a pre-ban, right? But with the way that Diligent has been really playing around the Shizuka at every opportunity, either denying it from somebody, pre-banning it, or taking it himself, maybe it behooves him to ban out one of the counters for it. But yeah, there were some really interesting decision points there as we went through the game where it's like, do I pop the skill 3 right now and risk or guarantee the heal on the Juno and make it so it's ever so closer to soloing me?
Yep. Well, Nikki and Oliver now available as we get into round number 3. Definitely expecting Dakoni Mush to get put under the blade once again in the pre-bans. Tian Lang getting the pre-ban as well. Both players have this Tian Lang here, and it still gets pre-banned here.
I think that's a smart pre-ban. It's just a hindrance to everybody. Every strategy that they're trying to employ, the Tian Lang seems to be there to just be a bother, Stoic. Even when Abellio was on the team for Diligent, he was cutting the attack bar.
Exactly. Looks like Diligent's going to be leaning on a Masha here. He's going to be looking at one more pick to respond towards the Oliver, and it is going to be Gio. It's the first time we've seen the Win Omni Yuji getting Win Omni Yuji. Win Omni Yuji getting drafted.
Ironic. You will know her name, Stoic.
I was super ironic, and I didn't even know her name. I didn't know her name. I said Gio. I did say Gio. But you will know her name.
You know.
Nikki, potentially being drafted by Angry Marmot.
Potentially. And furthermore, being reconsidered by Angry Marmot. The Miles. We haven't seen a Miles this whole tournament just yet. Scale works really well with Oliver's speed lead to guarantee additional damage on the passive. Let's see how Diligent wants to reply to that.
I mean, Diligent could actually reply with a potential Ragdoll Leo, really disrupting the speed damage coming from Angry Marmot, but we'll see if Leo could still be a 5th pick, though.
I like the Leo. The Ragdoll, there's not a lot of critting units, although they do a lot of damage. Maybe that could be a nice 5th pick. Oh, really choosing a lot of supports. Gyo is looking stronger and stronger as we go, though.
Yep, definitely. That's a very heavy water team coming out of Angry Moment. I mean, I do like the team. It's going to be a lot of buffs. Bolvak's definitely going to get a lot of stacks in a draft like this right now.
Yeah, this is looking like Diligence in a really safe place to just pick a Wind Punish and ban out the Bulwark. That's kind of what this is reading like. That is not a Wind Punish. That's almost the exact opposite of a Wind Punish.
And I am not a fan of that Nana, and the Nana does get locked in here. So the volatility right now that Diligent has to gain orbs is in the form of a Masha. And that is a fire unit up against 4 water units on the other side of the field. I don't like this. But Nana's still going to get the ban out here.
Yeah, I understand the ban on the Nana just because the Angry Marmot, by banning the Nana, means that he gets a really clean setup with Miles into kill with the Reckless. But the thing is there, I just didn't like the Diligent response of picking the Juno after all that water had been presented Stoic. We're going to have to see how this pans out, guys. Here we go. We're looking to get one of these players in match point position.
There was some big resistance on Gio. Gio is also another unit known to be on max resistance. Not receiving the split second skill for Kama, but the additional turns coming out here for Shizuku with a little bit of poke damage into a Reckless Assault.
Gyo looking to be max res, but not max X Stoic. You hate to see it. Already down a unit. Diligent playing 3 to 4, and 2 of them are fire.
Yeah, well, what Diligent really needed was an additional turn there to help take out that Oliver, because if he doesn't drop that Oliver in soon, I don't see how Diligent could come back. I mean, there's the defense break with, once again, no additional turn. I do think Oliver's going to kill... Oh, never mind! Oliver's going to get revenged and murdered by the Juno.
You didn't expect to see it for free there. It seemed like... He's so far ahead that it doesn't matter, but that seemed like just an unnecessary risk to take from Angry Marmot. In that case, you just use skill 1, just hit the Masha or something, you know?
Yeah,
and he's so far ahead,
Oof.
it won't make the difference.
That's really big. Great additional turn there coming out of Angry Marmot. Able to get the dismount on top of the Masha. No despair stones coming out from the Juno here.
That's funny. Masha normally loves to crit in these situations. If she didn't crit there, it looks like that might be it. I think it's safe to say that Angry Marmot definitely won in the pick ban phase.
100%. I mean, Diligent did not answer well to all those water units here, being left with a Masha and a Juno. I don't see Juno doing her job. She's doing great additional damage, though. Like, we're seeing good numbers for additional damage coming from the Juno, but that's not what we need to be seeing. We need to see so much more. Potentially, we just need to see a better draft coming out of Diligent.
Yeah, that is enough to put Angry Marmot at match point range. We are now in best of 5, so that means Diligent needs to adapt right now. And adapting is not drafting a Juno after water monsters are presented. So,
yep, not at all. That was not a very adaptive draft whatsoever. I don't know if it was the pre-ban that threw him off here. I have no clue, but definitely expecting to see a change of pace here. Obviously, the Dako Onimusha is now going to be available. I think Diligent does shift back to banning out that Nikki once again. Should Diligent be pre-banning the Nikki we get into round number 4? I don't know if Nikki should, again, be the pre-ban.
Yeah, probably not. I would prefer to ban whatever comes after the Nikki setup. There's more there to pre-ban. Yeah, that game was definitely a well-drafted one from Angry Marmot, especially, but that is not to speak down towards Diligent. Diligent has already been named the best RTA player once in terms of an SWC champion title. So he is really great, and he can absolutely turn this around, and he can tie it up right now. I actually believe in him, Stoic. I think that he probably has proven that he works really well under pressure.
Oh, 100%. If there's anybody that works well under pressure and can turn things around from being down a match, it is Diligent. Diligent's the kind of player to do that here. We'll find out if he's got what it takes right now as we get into round number 4 against Angry Mamot and Diligent.
And as a reminder to everyone watching, this could potentially be the last game of the night. Angry Marmot now at match point position in our best of 5 here. Diligent needs to shape up the draft to make sure that he can take that 1 point away and get us to that 5th match.
All right, well, pre-bans getting locked in. Like we said, the Dako Onimusha now available, and the Tian Lang as well. I do believe Diligent has first pick in this match. if I'm not wrong.
Yes, I think you're right. We're gonna have to see. He does. Good memory there, Stoic. The Nikki is back in the pre-ban section, and the Manon is getting pre-banned. That tells me that Angry Marmot is going to try to cleave.
Yeah, that's what that says to me. I think we're going to be seeing more AoE, maybe control cleave, which I think is great for Diligent to be taking the Oliver first pick.
Absolutely. The lack of a Nikki, we're going to have to see how that affects it, but really the banning the most popular way to counter a turn 1 play is signaling something fast. But now look at Diligent, kind of ahead of the curve here. Getting to that turn 1 comp before Angry Marmot can. That's where you really see the advantage of being in that first pick scenario and being able to respond and take units accordingly. And now Angry Marmot shifts.
And I like this draft from Diligent. You've shown that he was going to be taking a Molly draft, signaling he's going to go with a turn 2. I much rather see this draft out of Diligent. Diligent's bringing high volatility in the form of Han. He's going to bring another high damage unit for his last 2 picks here. I think the Nana is still okay. And, very interesting, but it is a very turn 1 team. We're going to see a Nephthys and Gianna getting locked in for Diligent here.
Diligent looking like he's eating a box of cereal. Oops, all speed leads, except for the Gianna. Angry Marmot's got a
really fast, though.
Really fast.
He's all speed right now.
He's all speed all the time. Let's see how he responds. Tetra, so that's trying to announce I'm not banning the Nephthys. Perhaps he's trying to ban out the Han to avoid an early kill, Stoic, and maybe the perhaps the second.
Yeah, not banning out the Gianna with the Tetra here. I do think he still lets that Tetra through. It might just be the Tian Lang that just gets the ban once again.
Nephthys and the Tetra. Nice call there. I was expecting maybe he just ban out the segment to really deny turn 1, but he doesn't want his bombs to not detonate. That was a double negative. He wants his bombs to detonate, Stoic.
Yes, he wants his bombs to go off. There's no immune on the other side of the field, but there is a reset. And I don't believe this segment's going to be going over this Gianna here. You can see that Gianna's got more attack bar than that segment. Only going for skill 1 to get the defense break on the attack break on top of Masha.
Well played there from Diligent to get the stuns on the opponent's side. Sekhmet is free to do it, but gets resisted. This is how Sekhmet performs everywhere else. I tell you, Stoic.
I think Diligent goes for the dismount right now on that Masha. It's going to be the free damage to take that unit down, and he is going to be doing that with the 3rd skill of Han. And oh my god, we're going to see a turn coming out here from Masha. Masha looking to get the defense break on top of the Han. Does receive it, though.
These exchanges are crazy. This match has not taken a slow turn yet. Everybody exchanging blows like madness. An additional turn popping out from Oliver trying to reset somebody else.
Yeah, Oliver's popping off right there, able to take 3 turns there. And we've got the dismount from Moore and a lot of additional damage popping out from Diligent.
Might be able to take that first Soul Star. You don't want to use it on Masha, though, because you don't want to go for that whole dismount again. He's instead working down Sekhmet, confirms the kill, Soul Shard off the table, and now he just needs to take out that Masha before it kills the Han.
Yeah, Angry Marmot's getting his additional turns here popping, and he needs to drop his Han to get that orb back onto the Nana here. We're going to see the attack break potentially go out top of the Tian Lang. No, look at a confirmed kill on top of the Sekhmet, though. No defense break is going to land, but does finish off the Han. Bomb's going to be coming out on top of Tian Lang, most likely.
Ooh, and this game just got a lot more complicated for Diligent right now. Now he needs to kind of navigate this a little bit. He got the Soul Shard back again. And Nana's just waiting, perched, ready to take all the stacks of her passive that she can.
Yeah, no defense breaks came out with the Curse of Beautiful. He has the glancing up. I feel like I wouldn't have went for the Tian Lang on that one. I feel like I just would have did more poke damage coming towards the segment, but I could be wrong. Looking for Despair stuns and does land a Despair stun on top of the Gianna.
That Gianna can't die yet in Diligent's eyes. You don't want to get the Soul Shard back on before Masha takes the bomb. Clutch reduced. Masha goes down.
Really
Diligent is looking to be in a position to tie it up.
He is. He's looking very good right now. If Oliver is able to push back more of these attack bars, probably going to stay on top of that Tian Lang. I don't think he can care less what this Nana is going to be doing. He does go for the Nana, though, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I guess he's trying to play it safe. To me, playing it safe is killing the Tian Lang as soon as humanly possible, though.
That's what I say. Dealing with the Tian Lang is definitely what needed to be done, and he did it. Diligent, taking round 4 away from Angry Mamot. We're going into a game 5, guys.
Oh, here we go. Now, this is how I like my Legend tournaments. Not how Stoic likes his, but this is how I like mine. I'm so sorry to say. That was an excellent game. So much interesting interplay, especially at the beginning. Stoic, that opener was so fast and huge plays were being made from both sides.
Yep, definitely. I love the adjust there from Diligent going with Dahan. I feel like this play style is much better, especially for someone the likes of Angry Mamot here. He needs to bring that high volatility, the fast teams in there. We saw a... wait, Manum was part of the pre-ban, was it not?
Yes, it was. It was one of those opening pieces that kind of declared what sort of play style he was going for. I think that was a really good point there, Stoic, because I think what Diligent did really well is kind of disrupting Angry Marmot's headspace going into that, because it made him feel unsafe picking that cleave comp that he was clearly trying to pick going in by banning out the Manon. Here we go, everyone. The last pre-bans of the night, Ongyuki and Neftis. These units will not be appearing on the table tonight, and I want to reiterate, Diligent versus Angry Marmot, both players at match point. We're at our 5th possible match. Whoever wins this is going to be our Season 24 Legend.
All right, let's see what Angry Mamot's going to prioritize going up against Diligent, because it could be a little, could be many things, whether it's Oliver, whether it's Tian Lang,
whether it's Oliver,
or Oliver again. That's
Oliver and Tian Lang.
Tian Lang and Sekhmet's gonna get drafted. I don't know how I feel about Sekhmet. I do like the adjustment to the Masha just a little bit better.
Diligent trying to counter you there, Stoic. I also like the Masha a little better. I'm with you on that one, because I think having the 2 counters for Oliver gives you a little bit more freedom in what comes after, because Angry Marmot could snipe the Masha, though that's not exactly the highest contested unit in play. Does he want to do it? It's a little spiteful.
Yeah, definitely a little spiteful indeed. 2 speed leads out here for Angry Mamot. Just because he already has that Sekhmet, I do think Diligent needs to lock in speed leads. I feel like the Neftis has to pop out here. And I don't like the Molly play. I don't like that passive play coming from Diligent. That's not what you need to do to win Game 5. Sitting here and receiving damage is not how you're going to win this match here. You can't guarantee that a Molly is going to save you. Honestly, you can't guarantee that a Manon's going to save you either. And I like the adjustment to the Pontos.
Here we go. Now, this is the turn 2 that he needed to kind of change into. I think maybe Diligent is feeling a little bit trapped, considering that 3 out of the 4 speed leads that we saw in the last game have been denied, whether in the pre-ban or drafted on Angry Marmot's side. Here comes that Shizuka that Diligent has been so careful to play around the whole night, and the Miles coming back after his very successful win earlier in this very same matchup.
Evan, do we just draft a Douglas as a last pick here and ban out the Miles, and then you're forcing a Shizuka into a Juno?
You know, that's the sort of bold play that I really like. The only thing I'm afraid of is if it's a high attack more, then we're a little bit worried. Diligent is going for the ultimate passive comp here if he locks in the Riley. That's not to say it's impossible. It's just that it does lack a certain degree of damage that's being presented by Angry Marmot.
Yep, well, Riley does get locked in here. Ban's going to be coming out shortly. I do think this Miles is going to be a little tough for Diligent to deal with, and I feel like you have to ban out that Miles. It might bring too much volatility with the stuns it can bring to the table. The damage that you just can't stop Miles can just be very, very powerful here.
I'm with you. I could see the Miles or the Chung Pung, considering that it's one of the few ways that he could maybe strip the entire team. Instead goes for the follow-up. Uh-oh. Stoic, this could be the darkest timeline, considering that Miles has that single target strip into big damage, but one way or another, here we go. The final round of the Legend Tournament for RTA Season 24.
That's right, guys. Let's get into it. I'm giving a lot of favor right now to Angry Mamot. I am a fan of his draft, and let's see if Diligent can stop that with a reset on top of that Chung Pung.
He may just go for the stun early on the Pontos. Let's see if he aims to do that, if it'll land, because that's a whole other question, Stoic. If it lands, big res from the Pontos.
Yeah, big res right here. And his Spare Sons does get the full strip with the more here, and no skills are going to be up with this Chung Pung. Oliver does have skill up, looking to push back potentially that Riley.
Oh man, I gotta say, if Angry Marmot takes this, it has been foreshadowed the entire night, Stoic. That Shizuka has been a thorn in Diligent's side the whole time, And the one game where he finally bans it out is the one that he might lose the Legend Tournament for. But we'll have to see. There's still some games ahead of us, and Juno is still in play.
Yeah, well, Diligent has got to save this Pontos. Riley's about to get a turn here, and it looks like he didn't choose to try and push back the attack bar of that Riley, and that might be what stops him. Does get a Despair Stun on top of the Oliver, and that might be exactly what Diligent needs. Big damage coming from this Miles, able to finish off that Pontos. That is very, very big for Angry Moment.
That's right. We sacrificed the Pontos over here. Can Diligent overcome this setback, both literally and mentally here? That's one of those units that you lose, and it kind of puts you in a bad headspace. Here comes Juno. She's following in line right after the Pontos. Miles is trying to take her out as quickly as possible, and that is the last line of defense for Diligent. If that Juno goes down, it's over.
That's 100% right, Evan. We need to see Despair Stuns coming out for Diligent. He needs to try and drop this Oliver as soon as possible. He needs additional turns coming out of this Riley to heal his team up here. Diligent needs a lot of stats to align here to win this match.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't help but think that that ban might have locked it out. I could see either Chung or now in retrospect, I'm really seeing that Miles that you suggested there, Stoic, being the one that needed to go.
Oh, man. I mean, even without the additional turns coming from the Miles was going to be a thorn in the side throughout this entire match here. And that's showing right now. There's just not much you can do about the Miles. If that Shizuka was out on the field, we'd have Magic Mort second-guessing himself at the third skill because he doesn't want this the healing to come back from the Juno, where the Juno's already gone because Miles applies way too much damage here. A well-drafted match for Angry Mort. To be honest, for Diligent as well here, but it comes down to that ban, Evan.
Oh, absolutely. Like we said, foreshadowed, Angry Marmot is our legend for RTA Season 24. The winner, as prophesied, Shizuka truly was the downfall for Diligent there, Stoic. It was foreshadowed from the beginning of the tournament. I feel like we have a narrative there with her being his arch nemesis the whole time.
Yeah, the Shizuka played a big role, and it was a very, very difficult unit for people to deal with, and it was a very difficult unit for Diligent to have to deal with as well. But Miles became the true thorn in his side in that last match, but well done, Angry Marmot, taking down a previous world champion, Diligent.
That's right, everybody. We have a new name in the Hall of Fame now, denying both three-peats for Legend title holders. So now True Whale didn't get the three-peat and Diligent didn't get the three-peat. Instead, we have a new entry, and I love to see it. What a great game to end on for the night, guys. And that one, that proc was one of the ones that I call the expeditious kind. That was truly won in the pick ban phase. It was decided as soon as Miles made it in play.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. It really comes down to that. And, you know, that's just something to think about for the future for Diligent. He's going to know this. He's going to know how much trouble that Shizuka is and where Miles truly shines. Because, in my opinion, it really showed in that draft that we knew that Miles was gonna shine throughout that match.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely his playground, and he dominated the field from the very beginning. Juno was helpless. Everything was helpless. The Tian Lang was gone early. Like, it was kind of rough for Diligent. Great showing, though, and we hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did, and we truly love having you guys here as viewers. It's a very fun way to wrap up the season, Stoic, and we're not letting you guys walk away empty-handed. Again, we've got our second coupon code of the night. See you soon. Legend Tournament 25. That's right, guys. So after this, we got the Legend Tournament. And again, if you're on Android, you can just type that code right in at the bottom of the events page. But if you're on iOS, our lovely mods, who I already see in chat, are posting the link right there. So you can just click on that and it'll take you right where you need to go, guys. What a show, huh, Stoic?
It really was, and I can't say that I hate a Game 5 or anything like that, but I did enjoy a Game 5 in this match here. I thought both players played great. It was exciting. It was a pretty good showcase of Summoners War RTA, and we didn't get to see a Manon pop off and, you know, do a bunch of dirty things. But we got to see some pretty genuine play tonight, at least.
Yes, we did. Some very genuine, just a good play, especially in the finals. Couldn't have asked for a better finals there. Yeah, and while Manon didn't necessarily pop off in the same way that I feel like she's been popping off on my ladder climb, Stoic, you know, she did have a memorable moment in denying her own kill. And chat, real quick, just to deviate from that, here's that first code in case you missed it. So there are the two, the see you soon and ready for SWC. Hope you guys had fun. Be sure to redeem those codes, and congratulations to all of our participants for making it here. Top 4 is an incredible place to be, Stoic.
It really is. It's a place that I will never see.
And me neither. Me neither, though. I would love to have options like that. That Mecha Chimera skin, man, congratulations. I hope they enjoy it, though. You know what? We did see Sean drafted tonight, so that means they'll also use it, too.
Yep, Sean's definitely a very, very good unit, so you should see plenty of that, and I'm sure Pinkroid will be slapping that transmog on that Sean for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Guys, if you're just joining us a little bit late, we just finished the Legend Tournament, and this is the highlight of the match that got us our new Legend star.
It is. This is the matchup right here. Angry Mormont confirming his spot, making his mark in Summoner's War, getting that fancy little building to get to put on his island to showcase that he, too, is a Season 24 champion.
Dang Skippy. If it wasn't anything else, it was the building. It was the little building in the Chimera skin.
I love that little building. I want one, Evan. I do, and I'll never have it.
I know, and that's the most tragic part. Here we go, not pictured here in the highlight reel. There was one moment where we could have gotten a little bit more damage in on one unit, the Tian Lang, I think it was, with the defense break on with the Manon, but it was probably unlikely to actually do any different. As we know now with hindsight, Angry Mormont does end up securing the 3 wins needed to take the title. Ongyuki hanging on by a thread, and Diligent seeming to make some pretty good moves here, but the Juno just ends up being a little too much down the line.
Yep, exactly. I mean, this is where Shizuka's just she's a tough unit to deal with when going up against units like Juno, and I feel like this is where, you know, Diligent should have took the situation that he dealt with here in round number 2 and took that into round number 5, but he didn't want to gamble. He ended up banning out the Shizuka in game number 5 and not banning out Miles, and you know, it could have been him. It could have been him getting this win, just like this round 2 went to Angry Mormont. So man, it's just tough to say. It really is.
It really is, and I'm telling you, man, there's a brilliant little story, a nice narrative there, with Diligent being afraid of the boogeyman who was Shizuka in tonight's Legend Tournament, you know, and all the way to the end, she was just being a threat to him in one way or the other, being either banned, pre-banned, utilized himself, one way or the other. She stopped his tournament run, which is quite ironic, and closed it in a nice little bookend.
Yep. That was the second time we got to see the Miles. I forgot that we saw the Miles in that round number 3 as well, and that's a little taste of like what it can do. And Angry Mormont had a well-runed Miles. He was able to get that 3rd round victory over Diligent, which was honestly, this is huge that Angry Mormont was able to get this win here. And Miles,
a well-runed Miles and a well-oiled machine. I know,
exactly.
He did so much damage. The 3 water units was difficult to overcome, and this was a really cool one as well. Diligent coming back with a really aggressive comp, and I think he would have liked to have used it in that last game, as we're about to see in the highlight reel. But again, like, you're watching the thing and you realize the Nefties is pre-banned. He took my Oliver, he took my Moore. All I've got left is Han in terms of like speed leads. I don't know if I can just make it work with that. So much of the comp was denied, and I think Diligent might have just kind of lost a little bit of that winning headspace.
Yeah. I mean, this draft from Diligent here, this is the bread and butter. This is the kind of draft that you want to see out of Diligent, and it's something that I feel like you see him and you know he's comfortable bringing that high volatility unit like Han, you know, teaming up with a Gianna as well. It can be very, very oppressive. When I see a play style like that or a draft like that coming from Diligent, I almost already see the victory for him, but he's not what he brought to that this 5th match right here. Not at all. I love the Pontos, though. I did like the Pontos. Just didn't work out for him.
Yeah, and you can tell that Angry Mormont respected the Pontos too, immediately recognizing that as the threat. And you used a good term there. You were saying that Diligent was comfortable in the draft that we saw presented in the game previous to this one. This draft, by comparison, is definitely not one that I'd label him comfortable playing. He seemed almost forced into this position, and unfortunately, it was the 5th one. And here it is, highlight version, Angry Mormont securing the Legend title and making his way into the Hall of Fame for the first time.
Big victory and awesome, big congratulations to Angry Mormont on his very first victory there, making his mark here as Legion champion, Legends champion,
Legend
in season 24.
Everyone
it's
in
late,
chat,
Evan, it's late.
It is. It's so late. I'm so sorry, Stoic. There it is, guys. The journey we've been on that brought us to Angry Mormont's eventual Legend title. Congratulations to him and everyone involved. And thank you to the chat. Thank you to everyone for joining us here today. What were your favorite games, chat? And Stoic, I'd like to ask you the same question. For mine personal, it might seem like it's a bit of a cop-out, but I really, really enjoyed our final set.
I did as well. I really enjoyed our final set. You know, I definitely see Diligent as usually being a finalist all the time, so I can't help but say any match with Diligent is going to be a favorite match for me, but it is the final, of course, for me as well.
Yeah, and being able to get that best of 5 and seeing a 2-0 right before it, I feel like we got everything. We got our cake and got to eat it too, like, which was very cool. I saw the Ongyuki cleave. I saw them fight for the Legend title. Like, this felt like it was really everything the Legend tournament has to offer, and it's a great way to say goodbye to Season 24. I'm very much looking forward to Season 25, and I hope that everybody here plays in the Special League. It was really fun seeing this happen, and I can't wait to see what the new meta brings with the new balance patch that normally comes historically following the Legend tournament. We might see a shakeup, though I don't know. People have been calling for that Water Hollyberry nerf there, Stoic, but given what we saw tonight, I actually don't know if she's, I don't know if it deserves it.
I think tonight confirms it. I think tonight confirms it, guys. If you don't see the Water Hollyberry on that balance patch, it was because of tonight's tournament. When we saw the Hollyberry not pop off and not win a single match here, that just went from her being on the list to her being off the list. So hope you enjoy another season of it, because Hollyberry is not as broken as we think.
She was, that's hard to say, isn't it, man? Like I said, she's been hosing me on the ladder, dude. You know, and she comes up on stage here on camera and acts like the most fair berry I've ever seen. I was like, stop lying to the fine folks at home. Just kidding. She was really drafted in a good situation, but unfortunately didn't yield results. Awesome tournament tonight. Really liked the Ongyuki. And everybody else, I liked all the monsters, and I like all of you guys. Thanks again, Stoic. It's always a pleasure casting with you, man.
It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Evan, for having me, and thank you, everybody, for watching.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.